welcome to this session, everyone. This is session number 16. Today's topic is self-heal daemon for replication. The agenda for today's session would be introduction to self-heal daemon, the types of crawl which is done in the self-heal daemon, and code walkthrough. So code walkthrough we'll do parallelly as and when we cover these topics. So let us get into the first point. Introduction to self-heal daemon. What is it and why do we need it? So in the earlier sessions, I think Pranit covered about write transactions, read transactions, and all from the IO path. So in case of replication, we know that depending on the number of replica counts, the IOs are parallelly sent to all of those replicas for write transactions. But there can be some cases where those transactions can fail on some of the bricks or all of the bricks, depending on the case. So there might be various failures due to network or due to disk getting full, space issues and things like that. In that case, we'll have some copies of the replica which are lacking behind the others and they need to be healed. So we need some form of mechanism to bring them up to sync. So that is the job of the self-heal daemon, or that is the job of self-heal as such. So there are two ways of doing self-heal in AFR. One is client-side heal, and the other one is through self-heal daemon. So this talk is mostly about self-heal daemon, but I will also cover client-side heal because the code is also very much similar and is shared between self-heal daemon and client-side heal. So client-side heal is something which is done from the fuse mount point whenever you try to access the file. So for example, when a file is pending heal from an earlier transaction, and if client-side heal is enabled, then when you do a lookup on the file or some inode operation on the file, it will trigger a refresh. And as a part of that refresh, if the file is needing heal, a background self-heal will be triggered from the client process. So that is done by separate sync task, and it will be done in the background, and it will not block the ongoing IO. So that is done by client-side heal. But as you can imagine, right, this is done only when you access the file. Otherwise, the heal will not get triggered. So suppose there are like 1,000 files which are needing heal, and only if you access only one file, only that will get healed. But the aim of our cluster should be to be as healthy as possible as soon as possible. So it would be good if we also have some proactive daemon which will automatically heal the files without even when the user does not access it. And this is what is done by the self-heal daemon. So self-heal daemon is basically a process which resides on every node of the trusted storage pool. So if you do PS and if you grep for Gluster SHD, right, you will see this process. It is basically managed by GlusterD and is a client-side process. Client process meaning the translators which are loaded inside the self-heal daemon graph are mainly AFR and the protocol client translators. So in this command itself that I've pasted above, you can see in the location of the log file and the location of the wall file, right? So if you open that and see, you can see the wall file topology. For example, I will just create a replica volume and cluster volume start test wall. So if you go to var lib glusterd walls test wall. So currently the self-heal daemon graph is one per volume. Earlier it was non-multiplex. No, earlier it was like one common wall file, but that change is again being reverted upstream and being brought back to the old behavior. But for now, in the current code, it is one per volume. And the graph is there in this one. So the name of the volume was test wall. So if you open the graph, if you go from bottom to top, first you have the IO stats, and below that you can see the translator replicate 0, and replicate 0 has 3 children: client 0, client 1, and client 2. And these are the client translators which are loaded like that. So this is basically the wall file that is used when starting the self-heal daemon. So Gluster SHD basically spawns this self-heal daemon at the time of starting the volume. So the code for this is mostly there in two files. One is the clusterd volgen.c. This is used for constructing the wall file or the graph of the self-heal daemon, and the SHD svc.c contains most of the other code which clusterd uses for managing the volume. For example, when you have a CLI and when you create and start a volume, the self-heal daemon is running by default, but you can specifically disable the daemon by using the command cluster volume heal vol name enable or disable. So the code, the way it works is when you run this command, it will go to the CLI will go to clusterd, and in this svc.c, there are a couple of files in this folder. They have the logic of managing the life cycle of the daemon. So that is all about clusterd and how it starts and stops and manages the self-heal daemon. The next is the types of crawl in self-heal daemon. So first let us see what is meant by crawling. So basically crawling is you scan through a location and identify what file needs to be healed depending on the AFR extended attributes, and then you have to do the heal. So this location, so there are two types of crawling that are done. One is full sweep, the other one is index sweep. And the difference in these two things is in what location, the change in location in what needs to be healed. So for full sweep, the location is basically the full file system. So like the name implies, right? When you run a full heal, what happens is it starts from the root of the file system for that particular replica, and it does a read-dir, and for every entry, it then checks the extended attributes and sees if files need heal or not, and then it triggers the heal for that file. And this is done recursively till that entire replica subvolume is crawled. And the other type of heal is index sweep or index heal. So here, as the name implies, the location would be an index folder. So that is nothing but .clusterfs indices, and there are three subfolders here: dirty, etc., entry changes. I think these folders and the meanings were already covered in the earlier talks about the write transaction. So basically, just to recap, whenever we are going to do a write transaction in the pre-op, we add the GFID to dirty, and you carry out the transaction, and if it is a success, we remove it from dirty, and that's it. If some transaction fails, we will also add it to etc. folder, the GFID of the file. And entry changes is there for granular entry heal. So what is granular entry heal? I think we'll cover in the next talk. But for now, let us just know that index sweep means the self-heal daemon will crawl through the all these three folders to get the GFIDs of the files that need heal. So the commands, so there are two ways of running this index heal. One is manually running through the CLI using cluster volume heal vol name. And the other one is self-heal daemon automatically has thread which scans these subfolders in once every this heal timeout seconds. So you can adjust this heal timeout seconds value. So I think by default it is every 600 seconds or 10 minutes. I think we can check that in the code. So that is the index sweep or index heal. So I think that pretty much covers the index heal and full heal. So if you look at the code, right, in Glusterfs inside Accelerators cluster AFR, these are the self-heal related files. You can see the ones that are there in blue and the ones that are there in black, right? The ones that are there in blue are the ones that we will cover today. So they are self-heald.c and self-heald.h and self-heal-common.c. So self-heald.c contains the code which is used for all the crawling logic, The header files contain the various data structures and their function prototypes. And AFR cell field common.c contains some common logic used for healing of the files. So the other ones which are down below, right, the ones in black, metadata.c, name.c, healdata.c, entry.c, these are the files which contain the logic for the respective types of healing. So in the earlier seminar, we saw that there are different types of transactions, right? Data transaction, metadata transaction, entry transaction from the IO path. So if one of them fails, then the respective exciter would be set, right? So the cell field daemon would then figure out what type of heal needs to be done based on the exciters, and then it will do the necessary heal. So if metadata heal is to be done, the logic, the code, you can find it out in cell heal metadata.c. Similarly for name, data, and entry. The difference between name heal and entry self heal is that name heal only heals the name of the file. For example, inside a directory, suppose you did an mkdir and then you killed a brick and created 10 files inside it. So when entry heal is triggered, all the 10 files will be healed automatically without intervention. But name heal is not something like that. Name heal happens when you explicitly do a lookup of that file name from the mount. So if you do ls of dir / file1, only that file will get name healed. So that is the difference between name heal and entry heal. So name heal only heals that particular name which is under consideration, whereas entry heal acts on that entire parent directory and completes the heal of all the entries inside it. Okay, so code, we will go through the code walkthrough for all of this, but initially I'll just show you the client side heal also. So the main functions for client side heal, right? This is AFR throttle self heal. So I'll just show you the code once for that. Okay. So we are currently talking about client side self heal. So the function, the entry point for this is AFR throttle self heal. So if you look at the list of functions which are calling this function, it is basically called from AFR inode refresh done. So the function is AFR inode refresh done. So this is actually happening in the inode path. So inode refresh, I think it was already covered, but I'll just say it once again. So whenever a brick goes down and comes up, or some operation fails on a brick, right? AFR maintains, or the client maintains, an in-memory copy of what is the good and what is the bad copy for every file in the file's inode context. So when a brick goes down and comes up, the generation number gets changed, which means that the in-memory copy is not reliable anymore and we need to refresh it. So refreshing is nothing but again a lookup operation or an abstract operation, depending on whether the actual transaction was FD based or path based. So once you suppose you are writing to a file using an FD, and in the middle one of the bricks goes down and comes up, then and subsequent writes also happen, right? So then we know that one of the bricks is bad, but that realization will happen during the next lookup. When you do an inode refresh, it will get maintained in the inode context, saying which is good and which is bad. So as a part of refresh done, we will trigger this background self heal also. So this AFR throttle self heal is the entry point for that function. So what this does is, right, because we are doing this self heal from the client, we should not be affecting the IO performance too much. So we have to sort of rate limit this client side self heal. So we have certain tunables for it. So one is the heal wait queue length, and the other one is the background self heal count. So background self heal count is the number of background heals that can happen in parallel. And mind you, all of this happens via sync task, so separate sync task, so that the actual IO transaction will not be blocked. The self heals will happen in the background. So I think the default value for background self heal count is 8, I think, which means parallelly 8 self heals can go on. If the 9th self heal also comes in, right? So for example, you try to access 10 or 11 files which are needing heal from the client. Then the rest of the pending heels would be put into a heel wait queue. We have separate queue for it, and they will be queued in there. Once the other self fields which are ongoing out of the 8 complete, new elements will be dequeued from the queue, and finally heel will be called on it. So AFR self field is the final point for all these functions, right? It's like the entry point for the self field, irrespective of whether it is called from client side or from the self field daemon. So anyway, we'll just go to the throttle self field and see. So if first of all, the background self field can be either enabled or disabled. So if it is disabled, then no healing will take place. So if it is enabled, then these certain checks are done to see whether it is within the limit, whether we need to add it to the tail, or we can straight away DQ and we can straight away DQ the heel and proceed with the heel. So if we are not adding it to the tail, no, actually what we're doing is we are adding it to the tail and then dequeuing it immediately. So even if the first one comes right, I think it will get added to the waiting tail, and then it will call the dequeue function, and it will get one entry. And then if the heel, if can heel is true, means we got a valid entry, then it will call the AFR self heal sync task. So this is again called as a separate sync task, and the function that is called as AFR self heal refresh wrap. So this again calls AFR self heal, which is like the entry point for self heals for a given GFID. So you can see the arguments it takes is this translator, which is the current replicate translator, and the more meaningful argument is the GFID, and this GFID is the GFID of the file which needs healing. So then it will proceed with the normal heal. So this particular function and what it does, we will cover it in the next session. But suffice to know that this is how the client self heals happen. So basically, we will see that whether the self heal is client side self heal is enabled, and if it is enabled, if it is within the background self heal count, then we will trigger the self heal. So this is the client self heal logic. So like I said, you can see the file name is AFR self heal common.c, right? So most of the common heal functions are present in this file, which are like common to all the other types of heals like data, metadata, and entry heals. So the common functionality is extracted and put in this common.c file. Okay, so this is about the client side heal. So the other one is the self-heal daemon heal, right? So this is the heal which is done by the daemon which is running on all the nodes of the trusted storage pool. So the self-heal daemon process is automatically started when the volume is also started by cluster D. So there are two ways of healing the file via the self-heal. One is either you can run the CLI manually. So for example, like I said in the earlier slide, you can run cluster volume heal vol name, or automatically self-heal daemon itself has a thread which once in every 10 minutes does the crawl of the this etc and indices into entry changes folder and does the heal. So for the manual method, right, the entry point is in AFR in the self-heal daemon is AFR notify. So we look at that function. AFR notify. So what happens is when you run the command from the CLI, right? CLI will talk to cluster D, and the cluster D will send the op to the self-heal daemon. So and that will be hitting the notify function. So in this, it will send an event called, where is it? AFR XL op. So this event translator op, right? This operation is something which is sent by cluster D and to the self-heal daemon. So this code is there in AFR command.c, but the parent function is AFR notify. So this notify function actually handles various cases, right? So this is basically a switch case. So there are various cases like child connected event, disconnected event, child ping event. So the one for this launching the CLI is called the translator op. So when this op is received, right, AFR notify will call AFR XL op. If you go to AFR XL op, you will again see there is a switch case statement. So depending on what the operation is, it can be an index heal, it can be a full heal, etc. So right now we are talking about index heal. So earlier also, right, in this slide, when you do for the full heal sweep, when you do cluster volume heal vol name full, it will hit the same code path. It will come to AFR notify, AFR XL op, and it will come to SHD of heal full. Okay, so I mean, since we are here, we look at the heal full path also. So what the code is doing here is that for every child of AFR, right? So if we create a replica 3 volume, it will go over this for loop 3 times, and it'll have various checks to see whether the child is up or not. Because if the child is down, then there is no point in launching the heal on that particular brick. Then it will check whether the brick is local or not, and if all the checks are met, then it will do a full heal spawn, AFR SSD full healer spawn. So if you go to this function, so this argument I is nothing but the child count, which is the first client or the second client or third client, etc. for that replica. So it is calling again in turn AFR SSD healer spawn. So let us see what this function does. Healer spawn is doing a couple of things. So first it will check within the mutex log whether the healer is already running. If it is not running, it will do a GF thread create and call this AFR SHD full healer, right? This is the one which will call. So this is like an idempotent function in the sense that if the thread is already created and running, then it will just signal the thread so that the function will be activated. So we look at the function called AFR SHD full healer, right? So once the GF thread create calls that function, we will reach AFR SHD full healer. So if you look at this function, it is basically a while one loop. So this thread is only spawned once, and it is a while one, and it will keep waiting until we receive the command from the CLI to trigger the full heal. So if you look at AFR SSD healer wait, it will just keep looping here until the timeout, and it will be, if it is not enabled, it will go to disable loop. Yeah. So this is a separate check, meaning if you do cluster volume from the CLI, right, if you disable the self-heal daemon, right, then also the thread will be here just doing a wait. So it will go to the, it will come here, it will again go to disable loop, and then it will keep looping, and it will not do anything. Yeah, so this healer.rerun, only when it is not there, it will do a condition time wait. But what happens when you do launch the command from the CLI is that if you go to the pane on the right side, it will set healer.running to 1. Healer.running to 1, and therefore it will come out of this loop. So it will come out of AFR SSD healer wait, and it will go to the actual healing function. Let me close the right hand tab. Okay, so after healer wait, we come here and we do a couple of things: sweep prepare, full sweep, and sweep done. So sweep prepare is basically initializing the structures required for statistics command. So look at this, like it will just initialize some counters, like what are the heals that are like in split brain which are failed, which are heal count to 0, etc. So we have a statistics command in self-heal which gives the reporting of every crawl over a period of time. So this function is only to initialize the variables that keep track of the crawl statistics. So once sweep prepare is done, it will actually go to the full sweep. So this is the meat of the function where we are going to do a whole sweep of that replica starting from the root. meaning the top root inode of that particular replica. So if you go to full sweep, it is calling syncop ftw, which is similar to the native ftw implementation, right? The library call. This is Gluster's implementation using syncop. So what this does is it will do an open dir and read dir of the directory, and for every entry it will call this AFR SSD full heal, which you see on the left hand side. That's that ftw function. So basically do a read dir, and for every entry do the function which is passed as this argument. So if you go to ftw, it first gets the FD and does the read dir P on that FD, and the path is basically the root of the that AFR volume. And for every entry that it gets, it checks like whether it is dot and dot dot, then we don't need to do anything. And finally, it gets the inode and calls this function. Function is, what function is that? So if you go back to the left hand pane, it is AFR SHD full heal. So AFR SHD full heal gets called for every entry. It does two things. One is AFR self heal name, and then next is AFR SHD self heal. AFR self heal name, I already told you what name self heal means. It just heals only this base name and not any other thing, not any other entry inside that. After that, it actually calls the AFR SHD self heal function with that GFID. So what that does is again call this AFR self heal. So this AFR self heal is the function which we saw earlier also. What it does is for a given GFID, it will trigger all the heals. Self heal will call, like, it will do an unlock inspect, it will figure out what type of heal is needed, either data, metadata, entry heal. And if data heal is there, it will trigger data heal. If metadata heal is there, it will trigger metadata heal. Similarly for entry heal. So that you will see in the next session. So ultimately, the thing to remember is that AFR self heal is the entry point for healing a given GFID. So this will be called from various places, from client side heal or from full self heal or from index heal, etc. So, but this talk is only concerned about reaching this point, not going into expanding this function as such. So, yeah, so that is it. After doing a self heal, it will collect the statistics of like how many heals failed and all that, how many succeeded, and then it will save it in the event history. So it will just add the data to the history. So that is regarding AFR SHD full heal. So the thing to remember here again is when you run full heal from the CLI, it will call, it will reach AFR notify, and AFR notify will call AFR XLOP, and the AFR XLOP has a case for whether it is index heal or full heal. So once you come to full heal, depending on the various conditions, it will call full heal spawn. So if the thread is already running, it will just signal it and it will start crawling. Otherwise, for the first time, it will create the thread. So that is about full heal. Index heal is also similar in the sense that the operation flow is very same. So if you run Gluster volume heal volume from the CLI, it will again, GlusterD will send a translator op to the self-heal daemon. Self-heal daemon will again call AFR XL op, but this time the operation is not full heal but index heal. So here also it is the same thing. For every child of AFR, it will see whether it is a local break, whether the child is up, and if all those conditions are met, it will go ahead and trigger the AFR SSD index healer spawn. So this function is also similarly like idempotent like the full heal spawn function, meaning it will first check if the healer is already running, it will just send a condition signal so that it will exit out of the while loop and start healing. Otherwise, it will create a new thread for healing the function. And the thread that gets called is AFR SHD index healer. So you will see similarities. So earlier it was full healer spawn, here it is index healer spawn. And the function that gets called here is AFR SHD index healer. So if you go into this function, it will be similar. So one thing to note is that the self-heal daemon operates or does all the operations with special PID called -6. So in Gluster, many of the internal daemons have a negative PID. So if you look at GCMD, Hadoop, there are different daemons, they all have different PIDs. So self-heal daemon's PID is -6. It actually helps to distinguish whether the pop is coming from an internal client or from a normal Fuse client, etc. So what the index sealer does is, again, it is the same thing. There you have a eternal while loop. It will again call the same function healer wait, meaning if that timeout is not expired, right? Heal timeout. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Yeah. So if that heal timeout is not expired, or if we haven't manually triggered a command from the CLI, it will just keep waiting and it will not do anything. Once that timeout is expired, it will come out of this loop, and these are like sanitary checks. Bricks available for heal. I mean, if the bricks aren't available, then obviously no point in going forward. So this code is specific to thin arbiter. We will not cover that. So here again this is the entry point. So like how we saw for full heal, right? The steps are the same. Like sweep prepares the data structures for the capturing the statistics, and then it calls index sweep all, and then finally index sweep done. So let us go to AFR SHD index sweep all. So if you look at this function, what it is doing is calling sweep on 3 different directories. One is index, one is dirty, one is entry changes. So if you look at the previous volume, right? So I think we created a replicable volume. So cd data bricks brick1 dot clusterfs cd indices. So if you look at it, there will be 3 subfolders here. Right now, there will not be anything inside each of these because we didn't do in IO. But if there are some failed entries, then we'll have to scan each of them. So if it is like it depends on what phase of the operation, the transaction, the failure happened, right? So if we cannot just say that we can scan only entry changes and get be done with it. Sometimes just after the pre-op stage and maybe at the right stage, it wound up some bricks and then crash. So inside dirty also you will have to scan for the list of GFIDs, so that the goal of AFR is to ensure that the contents on all the bricks are the same. I mean, that is the correctness as far as AFR is concerned, right? We might have returned failure to the application, and there might be like partial writes on one file, but the goal of self-heal is to ensure that whatever partialities are, it is like replicated amongst all bricks and they are consistent among themselves. Yeah, so yeah, so we have to scan all these 3 folders and do the indexing. So AFR SHD index sweep of. So each folder, like dirty indices and index and entry changes, right, has a virtual GFID. So I mean, we'll go to this function itself and see what it is doing. So this index sweep of index GFID means it is scanning the indices folder with this virtual GFID. So what this code does is it will first try to find the inode corresponding to this GFID. So how it does that is it will send a setter, virtual getX setter with that GFID as a key, and it will, so index translator would be giving us the value of that GFID, right? And once it gets that index GFID for that particular key, we will try to find the inode in the inode table of the self-heal daemon. So what that does is it tries to find the inode for that particular GFID. You can go here also and see. I think you'll probably do a lookup too. Okay, first it will do an inode find. Okay, if it is already there in memory, you will directly get the inode for the GFID. Otherwise, it will populate an LOC and then do a lookup, and then get the response back. So when you do a lookup, index translator will send the response and for this particular virtual GFID, and IAT value also will be sent, and it's linked to the inode, and you get the inode. So once you get that inode for that virtual GFID corresponding to the index folder, you go back to the calling function, and then we have the inode, we have all the details required to scan that directory. So it calls syncop empty div scan. Empty is for multi-threaded div scan. So this is also very similar to that NFTW function what we saw in the full heal. So basically, it does the scan of this folder, index folder, and for every entry, it will call this AFR SSD index heal. So anyway, let us go to the syncop empty div scan function and confirm. So what it is doing, it will get the FD first, and you'll get the reader, like similar to how we saw in the full heal case. And it will keep the dot and dot entries and the list for each entry. For every entry, so here also it can be both a directory or a file, right? For directory, it will again call recursively AFR SSD index heal, this function. If it is a file, it will directly go ahead and call this run build sync task. Here also it will populate some structures needed in the scan data and ultimately call CentOS new with this div scan job function. This div scan job function, I think, would be the AFR SSD index heal. So ultimately, it is just doing a reader of the directory, getting the entries, and triggering index heal on them. Let me close the right hand side pane. So again, coming back to AFR SSD index heal, it will call, again it will get the inode context 2. Okay, I don't know what this is for. I think we'll have to, oh, okay. Okay, let's look at that later. It is first calling AFR SSD self heal with that GFID. Again, it will call this common function, right? AFR self heal. So that will, this function is also very common. It will just create a frame and do a self heal. And depending on what type of self heal is required, it will either do data, metadata, entry heal, and all that. Okay. And if the entry is not there, you need to purge it from the, yeah, this is actually normal entry heal logic only. I think it will send an RMD or an unlink with a special flag 1. So I think in POSIX unlink or POSIX RMD, I think if this flag is, I mean, for POSIX unlink, it's fine, it's just order of 1. For RMD, I think if this flag is 1, it will move to a special hidden folder, and then the separate set of janitor threads will remove it. So this is anyway part of entry heal. So this is there to handle some corner case where we had to zero the etc. What it says, if brick crashed in the pre-op after creating etc. but before setting changelog, interpol's tail etc. links. Okay, so this is for entries which do not have any AFR etc. but the stale etc. is there. So we need to send an etc. with all zeros, so that index translator, I think it was covered it, when it is all zeros, it will remove the purge the entry from the respective folder, so that logic is there in the index. So AFR does sends a post op with all zeros, and it will get burst as part of index etc. function. Yeah, so this is done for all the three folders. So this is for index GFID, dirty, and entry changes. So we saw there were three subdirectories like dirty, entry change, etc. So for each of them, the process is the same. Get the inode corresponding to the virtual GFID, open an FD, trigger multi-threaded scan on it, and for every entry obtained in that read dir, launch the index heap. So I think that is pretty much it. What else? Yeah, so I think if you're trying to understand the code, these functions can serve as entry points, right? So for client side heal, it's throttle self heal, which is called as a part of inode refresh. So you look at what the functions is are calling this function, and then from there on figure out the code path. So likewise for manual heal as well as automatic heal. So these structures, okay, and look at them. So these structures are nothing but information contained for healing the index healer threads basically. So index healer threads, full healer threads. So there are two structures. So subwall healer is nothing but the structure above it, right? It contains which replica it is, and this is crawl event. So this mutex and conditional variables which are used for like signaling. Remember, once in every 600 seconds you need to trigger the healer threads. Then you have subwall. Subwall is basically which brick it is, like brick 0, brick 1, brick 2, which child of AFR it is. And running, rerun are all used to identify whether to trigger it or like whether to have the thread sleeping. And these are the max threads, weight to length, and all are used for throttling. I think self-heal daemon also has some kind of threads, multi-thread, just like the client-side self-heal, right? Let us look at max threads. Yeah, SHD max threads. SHD max threads is the maximum number of parallel self-heals that can be done per brick. Yeah, but I think if you increase this to a large number, then it can possibly crush all the IOs, like this comment says. So it's basically a tunable, just like for client-side heals. On the self-heal daemon also has some maximum number of SSD threads that can be queued. So yeah, I think that is pretty much it.